If you've ever wondered why we stress the joints, the ligaments, the bones, the connective tissues in yin yoga, then this beginner yin yoga class is for you. Hi, I'm Melissa from Yoga with Melissa. This is real yoga for real people, and we're all about connection. Connection to a teacher and teachings that allow you to connect with your true nature and a community of people that are dedicated to a genuine path of transformation. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications by pressing that little bell. I have a lot of great content coming up for you in the coming weeks. Next week, for example, we're going to be doing a live class here, same time as our release date. I put out a brand new class every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. And next Friday, we'll be doing a live class, a beginner yin class on the meridians or the energy channels that run through our body. And in the coming weeks, I'm going to be doing another beginner yin class on mindfulness, and then a yin yoga for hips, yin yoga for neck and shoulders, a yin yoga for sleep. So a lot of great content coming if that interests you. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Right now, only about 25% of people who watch my videos are subscribed. So we would love it if you press that subscribe and turned on that bell so you don't miss a single class if these videos appeal to you. If you are brand new to yoga, then don't worry. This is actually a beginner class for beginners. We show lots of modifications. We make it simple for you. We don't do anything that beginners can't do. So don't worry. I will give you a preview. If you're brand new to yoga, do make sure that you speak to your medical doctor before you do a class, especially if you have any injuries or illnesses, and ask your doctor, are there any movements or shapes that I shouldn't do and that will make my injury or an illness worse. So make sure you have that conversation first with your medical doctor, and then when you come to class, you'll be able to care for yourself quite well. I have a testimonial for you today from Susan, I believe, and she says, this class was a perfect introduction to yin practice. I've been a yin practitioner for several years, and this class was my favorite intro class. Thank you again for all the wonderful work that you do. So thanks to Susan for taking your time to leave your comment on YouTube, and for all of you who take the time to leave your comments on my website, on iTunes, on Instagram, on Facebook, and as always, the most in-depth conversations happen in our membership community. Thanks to Squeeze Yoga Clothing for my clothes. Today I'm wearing a long sleeve bamboo top with butterflies on it, and I'm wearing long black leggings. And thanks to Dusky Leaf for our props. Today you will need you don't really even need a mat for yin yoga, but it is nice to put down a folded blanket so that you have a little cushioning underneath you. A second blanket is good to sit up on for forward folds, to place underneath your knees and things in twists. It's useful to have blocks. If you don't have blocks, you could use Tetris packs like that almond milk come in, and it's useful to have a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can take the tie from your bathrobe. I think that is all of the things. Oh, I'd like to give a preview before our class in a beginner class to make sure that we're not wasting your time if this is a class that you can't do. So let's just go through what to expect in today's class. So today we are going to be doing butterfly pose to begin. Then we will do banana asana, followed by sphinx pose, broken wing pose, dragon pose, quarter dog, melting heart, and keyhole twist. So if those are all shapes that work for you in your body, or a majority work for you in your body, not to worry, I will give modifications as well where needed. Then let's get started. We're going to start by lying down on your back. And if you have any back issues, you're going to lie with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. So begin by feeling the support of the earth underneath you, and allow all the tension and burdens of the day and from your body to release down into the earth. And over the next few breaths, just let your breath lengthen out, become a little bit longer and deeper. And you can even place your hands on your belly so that you focus your breath into your lower belly. Okay, from here we're going to roll to your side, and you're going to come up to a seated position. We're going to make a diamond shape with our legs, and if your pelvis is being curled under, then it's going to be difficult to fold forward. And so it can be useful to have a folded blanket or a cushion to elevate your hips to sit up on, and then it's easier for your pelvis to fold forward. I would fill the space with cushions or yoga blocks here so that your joints aren't hanging out in mid-air. And then you're going to fold forward and remember the 3 principles of yin yoga. First, we find an appropriate edge. So you don't want to go to your fullest maximum effort in a yin class. Find that about 70% effort. And you never want to go to sharpshooting pain. You want to find a place where you feel tension, but not sharpshooting pain, nothing electric, nothing tingling or anything like that. So we find our appropriate edge, and you want to be able to take deep breaths into your belly in that. And then we resolve to be still, and we stay in each pose for a while. In a beginner class, we stay for about 2 minutes. So many people actually misunderstand the intention behind yin yoga, thinking that the long holds in a yin yoga class stretch the connective tissues or ligaments or joint capsules. And on the contrary, there's no stretching happening actually. When we take these long holds, we are actually stressing the connective tissues, including the joint capsules, the fascia, the ligaments, the tendons, and even the muscles. So we're creating tension. So stressing the connective tissue is quite different than stretching. Stress occurs when we apply tension to our connective tissue, whereas a stretch is the elongation of the tissue that results from the stress. So we stress the ligaments and the joint capsules so that over time they become longer and thicker and stronger. You're going to come up slowly out of the pose. That was way too fast to release. And then you're going to lie down on your back and feel the effects of the posture. That posture affects all the 6 main meridian channels in your lower body. So feel that rebound, especially in around your pelvis and your legs. Okay, our next posture is banana asana, a side bend on your back. So you're going to take your feet over to the left side of your mat. And then you're going to take your arms overhead. And remembering that we're not going to go to maximum effort, you're going to, I would suggest bending your elbows and then taking your body to the side. Also remembering that we're going to be holding this pose for 2 minutes. Allow your muscles to soften here. Breathe into your lower belly. Sink into the earth and let gravity do the work. Very slowly going to release your arms down. Come back to the center and feel the reverberation of the posture in your body. Then we'll come over to the other side. So you'll take your left foot over to the right side of your mat. Take your arms overhead, side bend to the right. Remember, the other side can be completely different. So honor the differences in your sides. Remembering that this isn't an aesthetic practice. It doesn't matter what your pose looks like. You want to feel the sensation in your body. You're going to very slowly make your way out of this pose. Come back to center. Feel the reverberation, feel the rebound, the effect of this posture in your body. Okay, from here we're going to roll over onto our stomachs. So bend your knees. So roll on your stomach and just wiggle your hips from side to side to release your low back, especially if your low back can be tender and it feels a little fragile in Sphinx pose. And then you're going to tuck your right toes under, lift your right knee, reach back through your right heel, tuck your left toe under, lift your left knee, reach back through your left heel and feel the space that creates in your low back. Take your arms out in front. You're going to walk your elbows back to just in front of your shoulders. And if you want to have less, you can walk them forward a little bit more. Also, if you have neck issues, you can take a block and rest your head on the block. Okay, because in this pose, we're targeting the kidneys in the low back and we're putting pressure on the kidneys in the low back. That's the intention in this pose. So our bodies are composed of muscles and connective tissues, which may include ligaments, tendons, bones, joints, and fascia. Now our muscles respond well to repetitive rhythmic movement, and they heat up when they're exercised repetitively. And their elastic qualities allow their muscle fibers to elongate when they're stretched. Our connective tissues, on the other hand, are best to remain cool when exercised and are much more plastic in nature, and generally they don't elongate. They respond to slow, gentle contraction and are much more yin in nature. In fact, it's dangerous to apply the repetitive rhythmic movements that are healthy for our yang muscles to our yin tissues. So the yin tissues are much more plastic in nature, and if you treated them the same way as you did your muscles, so often the example of a credit card is used. If you were to move it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, it would snap like a credit card. So we don't do that. We apply slow and gentle traction to our connective tissues. Okay, so you're going to slowly lower down. And then you're going to take your right arm out to the side. And you're going to take your left hand by your left shoulder, press the floor away from you, draw your right knees up to the side. And you're going to pause here. You're going to be still. And we're going to stay for a while. So you're going to slowly make your way onto your stomach. And then we'll do the other side. So you're going to place your left arm out to the side. Your right hand comes by your right shoulder. You push the ground away from you. You draw your knees up beside you. And then you come into stillness. So one of the reasons why we stress the connective tissue in our yin yoga practice is to do something called preventing contracture. And contracture means the loss of mobility through a joint. When the ligaments become tight due to misuse, trauma, or lack of use, you experience something called contracture. The ligaments begin to shorten, immobilize, and create a kind of shrink wrap around the joint. So connective tissue generally works by protecting your joints and holding you together. When you slip and fall, for example, like think about if you were to go over a curb edge and your leg kind of goes out to the side, something like that. The connective tissue that wraps around the bones and the joints, it deforms slightly, and then it returns to its original shape, preventing injury. In that way, connective tissue is not dynamic like muscle. However, our daily sitting and our daily activities do lead to contracture, especially around the hip joints, SI joints, and lumbar vertebra, impinging our normal functioning, leading to common complaints such as back pain. I think I heard our timer go, but nope, not yet. Okay, then you're going to slowly come out of this pose, come back onto your belly, and just feel the reverberation, the effects of this posture in your body. Okay, and then you're going to push up onto all fours. And from here, you may want to have your blocks or your makeshift blocks, or maybe even a chair. And you're going to place them at the top of your mat. And we're going to take a step through with your left leg to begin. And we're going to do something called dragon pose. So you walk your left leg through and come into dragon pose. If this is too much on your knees, actually let me show you an option for dragon pose. If it's too much weight bearing through your knees, you can always take this pose on your back, where you lie on your back and you draw your knee into your chest like this. So it's the same shape, but you're taking it on your back. Okay, so there's a good option for you instead. And if you can't reach your foot like that, you can always use a strap around your foot. Okay, don't start without me because it's a lot. This dragon pose, I swear they call it dragon pose because it's a fire-breathing dragon. It's intense pose. Okay. Okay, a second reason why we stress the connective tissue in yin yoga is to reduce fixation. So fixation is when two surfaces temporarily adhere to one another, and bones sticking to one another can lead to something called joint fusion. And when we traction different joints in different ways, fixation is reduced and mobility is increased. Very, very slowly, you're going to back out of this pose. You can either lie down on your back or come to a simple kneeling position. We have two sides. Okay, let's take a step through on the right. Another reason we stress the connective tissue is for joint hydration. So healthy joints need to be lubricated, and hyaluronic acid reduces the friction between the articular cartilage of synovial joints. As we age, we have fewer proteins producing hyaluronic acid, and as a result, our hyaluronic acid molecules are smaller in size, and our joints are less lubricated and elastic. So when we stress the connective tissue, this improves the production of hyaluronic acid. So yin yoga is really like WD-40 for your seized and resting joints. Paul Grilly, one of the founders of yin yoga, points out that athletes do not go into early retirement due to injury because of failing muscles, but rather because of failing joints. If you reflect on your own body, most likely the location of injuries have been the joints, not the muscles. Think about it. Think about knees, low back, SI joints, shoulder joints. Usually the location of injuries are joints. Very, very slowly, you're going to ease out of this posture, and you can either lie down on your back or come to a kneeling position. Feel the reverberation of this pose. Feel the movement of chi, energy flow. So for our next pose, we're going to do quarter dog. So the way that this works is you're going to take one arm forward, bend one arm at a 90 degrees. Your shins are on the ground. You can rest your forehead on your forearm here. And you're going to melt your heart towards the ground. And we're going to stay here for 2 minutes. You can place your head on the forearm, or you can rest it on the ground as well. Whatever works best for you. Remember to be soft in this pose, to rest. Let gravity do the work. Very, very slowly, you're going to come up and out and rest down on your belly. And then come back up. And we're going to do the other side. So this time you'll take your left arm forward. Your legs are at a 90-degree angle to the ground. Your right arm is parallel to the ground. And you open your heart to the ground. You can rest your forehead on your forearm. Remember, both sides are going to be different. Soften and yield into the pose. Very, very slowly, you're going to come out of this pose. Make your way back down on your belly. And feel the rebound of this posture. So another reason that we stress the connective tissue and the bones specifically in yin yoga is that as we age, we lose bone density, especially for women. And compressing the bones with an appropriate amount of stress helps the bones to grow stronger. Stressing the bones over a few minutes activates and facilitates a complementary period of recovery and rebuilding within our tissue. Okay, and then we're going to do full melting heart pose now, so with your arms on both sides. I think my phone's dying. Oh, there, we still got some left. So you can modify this pose by placing a cushion underneath your head. So you lift your head up a little higher. Your legs are at a 90-degree angle to the ground, and you're softening when you're in this pose. Okay, so very slowly we're going to come out of this pose. I think my phone's died. We may have been in that longer than 2 minutes. Sorry about that. All right. From here, we're going to come onto our backs and we're going to hand timing over to Tim. All right. So you're going to lie on your backs with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. You're going to cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh, and you're going to draw your right knee in. You want to feel the stress on the outside of your thigh and into your glutes. You could use a wall here so that you're propping your foot on the wall or on the couch if you can't reach, especially behind your right knee here. So we'll stay in this pose for 2 minutes. Okay. If you can't reach, you can use a strap here and use the strap to hold your leg up. Very slowly, you're going to release your left leg. And then you're going to take your arms out to the side. Press into your right foot, lift your hips, take them over to the left side of the mat, and then lower your hips, lower your left foot over to the right side. So you're in a twist here. Very slowly, you're going to draw your knees back to the center. Press into your right foot, untuck your hips, and then release down to the center and feel the rebound from those two postures. And then let's repeat that sequence on the other side. So you'll bend your knees, place your feet flat on the floor, cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh, open your right knee out to the side. You're going to draw your knee into your chest till you feel sensation on the outside of your thigh, into your glutes, maybe even on the inside of your thigh. And you're going to hold on here. You can use a strap if you can't reach. Very slowly, you're going to release this leg down so your left foot's on the floor. Your arms come out to the side. Press into your left foot. Lift your hips. Take them over to the right side of your mat. Lower your right foot to the ground, the left side of your leg to the ground. Coming into the twist again. Resting here. Very slowly coming back to the center. Pressing into your left foot, untucking your hips. And coming into the final resting Shavasana. If you don't have any back issues, you can lie with your legs long and your hands on your belly. If you do have back pain, back issues, I recommend you bend your knees. And you can take your feet a little wider on the mat, toes point in towards each other, knees rest towards each other. Very useful resting position. And rest back in Shavasana to receive your practice. This is a very important time of integration, so you can receive your practice physically, but also to receive your practice mentally, emotionally, energetically as well. You're going to stay resting in Shavasana for just a few more moments while I sit up and read you a poem for your final minutes in Shavasana. This is a poem by Susan Alexander. It's called When, and Susan Alexander is a local poet here. She lives on an island called Bowen Island, which is an island between the mainland, Vancouver, and where I live on Vancouver Island. Very small population, 3,600 people. The poem's called When. When I become the sea, I will touch every shore at the same time. I will pull up foamy skirts and show off my purple stars. I will swell, crest, and fume. Send salt spray sideways. Etch the beach house windows. I will rage. I will hurl tree trunks, twist aluminum boats, and bury them under rock. I will soothe. I will cradle the moon and trace her river of light when I become the sea. So gradually allow your breath to deepen. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Bend your knees. Roll to your right side. And slowly start to make your way up to seated. If you understand better now why we stress our connective tissues, our ligaments, our joints, and stress our bones in a yin yoga class, then please press that like button. And our next live class is November 24th, next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So we'd love to have you join us for that. We're going to do a live beginner yin yoga class on the meridians or the energy channels in our bodies. I'm very excited about that. I love that aspect of yin yoga. And I've been holding back on it on these yin classes. Let me know in the comments why you need to stress your connective tissues the most. Do you need to prevent contracture, prevent degeneration of your bones, reduce fixation, or do you need to hydrate your joints? Thank you so much for your donations. Paige from Italy, Lauren from Romania, Carla from Belgium, Matthew from New York, and Donna from Kansas. Now, learning yin yoga is not something you can just do in 1 hour, just like brushing your teeth. I find yin yoga is a way of life for me, something I incorporate into my life every day. So I'm going to share with you a good, better, and best way to do that. So a good way to do that would be to subscribe to our channel. And I know a lot of you watching our videos are not subscribed. So we would love to have you subscribe. As I said, I've got a lot of great content coming up. We've got a yin yoga for sleep, yin yoga for hips, yin yoga for hips and shoulders. I've got two more beginner yin yoga classes, one for meridians, one for mindfulness. So lots of great content coming up. A better way would be to sign up for my 7 days of yoga for anxiety, and we're going to very soon have a 5-day beginner yin yoga practice coming for you. But anyway, until then, 7 days of yoga for anxiety. If you go to melissawest.com/anxiety, I'll give you 7 days of yoga for anxiety, and this will also help you embrace a more yin way of life. And the best way to make yin yoga a part of your everyday life is to join our membership community. There we can support you making yin a part of your everyday life. Every month we have our 90-minute yin indulgence workshops. On the last Sunday of every month, we do that at 9:30 a.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Pacific. Also in December, our theme for December is going to be yin. We're going to have a yin week, yin intensive, probably a 4 or 5 day intensive with yin yoga classes and also meditation. It'll be a retreat like that you can do at home, and two-way video conferencing every day. So that's really, really awesome. And if you guys know the cost of retreats, they're usually in the thousands of dollars, and this allows you to do it from your own home and for a fraction of the price for a membership. So I'll put in the links how to become a member. We'd love to welcome you into our community, and I'll put a direct link for the our members, because I would love to have our members join us for those wonderful live classes and for our December yin theme as well. Okay, so I'm sending you much love from beautiful British Columbia. May your joy be as deep as our Pacific Ocean. May you be as rooted as the trees in our forest, and may you be as strong as our mountains. Om Shanti. Namaste.
Melissa would love to hear your questions and thoughts. Please leave your comments below the video. Thank you for your reviews on iTunes and YouTube. Your reviews help us to share yoga and a yoga lifestyle with others around the world. If you have a question for Melissa, you can leave a voice message at melissawest.com, and Melissa may answer it in an upcoming blog.